What is going on, everyone? So, today's episode is going to be kind of loosey-goosey. Um, which I don't mind. It's going to be a conspiracy episode. I still have part 2 planned for the episode on famous people I met, celebrities I met. Were they cool? Were they not? I'm just sitting here watching this beautiful sunset. Hopefully you can see it. Yeah, it's kind of nice getting to work a little bit early. You'll have to excuse me. My nose, my throat, my ears are all clogged up. Which my wife, she said that there's been some sort of like big burst of pollen here in Kentucky. She even heard about it or read about it or something. So I'm not someone who suffers like horribly with allergies. My little brother does. I used to when I was younger, but not so much anymore. But I do suffer from it. So like I can't hear shit. My ears are so clogged up, I can hear my voice hitting my eardrums, like internally, not even externally, coming out and going back in. Like I can literally, it's like, sounds like I'm speaking straight into my eardrums. Earlier today, she was like hearing a bird. Me and her were on the phone and she could hear a bird outside. And she's like, "Oh, I hear the bird." And I'm like, I could barely hear it, you know? So that's what's going on, just watching a beautiful sunset. So I watched a video, and by the way, like, I've spoke ill of this creator, and I still sub to him. I don't hate him. I have no beef with him, but Truth Seeker. And I wouldn't even say I spoke ill to him. I just disagreed with him on some stuff about the Russell Brand baptism and stuff. And he was talking about how Russell Brand is like some Illuminati, evil, satanic dude. And like Russell Brand, it's a whole rabbit hole, you know. Go watch that episode on Russell Brand getting baptized. And, you know, as someone who's very anti-Christian, like, I was actually just cool with it. The older I've gotten, the more cool I am about certain things, as far as like, hey man, if that's your path and it makes you a better person, continue, you know. Don't harm anyone else, you know. But he was talking about, at the end of his video, I noticed he was like, you know, I'm making these videos to wake people up. And now, this is not ego-driven, so I hope you don't take it that way. But I just found this guy a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I just found this channel. I've been a subscriber to Jacob Israel since the Mandela effect really started taking place and people started noticing the Mandela effect. I've been here 8 years on YouTube. I was truly awakened, I would say probably 2012, somewhere around there, is when I first was like, someone just gave me that red pill and I swallowed it, you know. And it started out small, you know. It was just, this black dude named Tyrell, you know, just telling me about the secret messages on the dollar bill and the $5 bill and the $10 bill and the $20 bill, and if you fold them up a certain way, it predicts 9/11. And I had an older brother who was telling me, like, we would watch documentaries and he was showing me like 9/11 was an inside job, shit like that. And at the time I was working at McDonald's with my ex-wife, and I wish that I had started my channel all the way back then. I truly do. I wish that I missed out, or I wish that I had started it back then, because I missed out on a lot of years and a lot of youthful energy that I could have tapped into. Sadly, I didn't start creating content till about 8 years ago. And I feel like at the time I was telling everyone, I had like the punk rock mentality of go to the streets, boots on the ground, which I still have that mentality. Like, I still pass out flyers for my podcast. That's one thing that I do have to say. Like, all these podcasters that have these podcasts, here's a little advice as a podcaster who has a small podcast. If you are going somewhere, take flyers with you, because you never know who you're going to run into. And you ain't got to do it everywhere you go. Here's what I do. Like, I do it on places because me and my wife, we like to go hiking a lot. And we like to go out of state when we can. On vacations, we travel. Shit like that. We go to these like conspiracy related places. Like, we've been to the Mothman Museum. We've been to the Hopkinsville Goblin Museum. We've been to the Flatwood Monsters Museum. We've been to the Sasquatch Museum. This is the type of stuff we do on vacation. Is we go to these like paranormal, conspiracy related areas and shit. And I always bring flyers with me. And it's kind of like a poster, like a little miniature poster. It's got my artwork, the name of the podcast, a picture, and then if you flip it over, it's got all my information, where to find us, where to listen to us. And I keep these folded up in my back pocket, so like when we go hiking, I'll go to the restroom. And, sometimes there's like a cork board you can put stuff on. I'll put it on the cork board. Or, I'll put a couple on the bathroom counter so people can pick them up. Or if we go somewhere historical, I'll pick up a rock and put a couple flyers with a rock on it next to a plaque or something, so people can go, whoa, what's this? Pick it up and go, oh, it's a podcast, let's check it out. This is what I do. So boots on the ground is not a bad thing, and that's what I was doing before I had a podcast. I was trying to wake everyone up. And I've noticed this with people when they first wake up. And I'm using Truth Seeker as an example because I really don't know this guy. I don't know how long he's had a channel. But I've noticed a trend with certain people that I listen to. Noticed two trends going on. One trend is I'm trying to wake people up. The whole point of my channel is to wake people up. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that's how I used to be. And I've noticed a trend with channels like Sam Tripoli or Eddie Bravo, where they're getting into more of the mindset of, I've been doing this so long, and I used to have this mindset of let's wake people up, but they're now switching towards the mindset of, if you're not awake, for one, it's probably too late, and two, like, you're just never gonna wake up, man. And there's reasons for that. But there definitely has been like a great awakening. I do have to say that. And I know a lot of people, they cringe about that whole terminology because it is kind of a QAnon terminology, but I look at it like this, man. Like, COVID really woke some people up on what was going on. Like, there was a lot of blue-pilled people who they fucked up, man. What they did is they fucked up because there was this gigantic flow of new people to conspiracy theory because they sent everyone home from work. So you had a lot of people who got sent home from work and started doing research. What's going on? And these are all blue-pilled people who actually had the time to research, because before they were working their fingers to the bone, now they're getting checks, like unemployment checks, or what's that check they sent us that was laughable? I forget. They sent us like 2 checks, Donald Trump, and one was Biden. Whatever. They sent us 2 COVID checks. But a lot of people weren't working, man. And it backfired on the elites because you had all these blue-pilled people that you basically just red-pilled and you didn't mean to. Because they're thinking, what the fuck is going on? You know, something's not right. This is weird. The whole thing's just weird. Some of this doesn't make sense. Now you have people who just bought into it and are still bought into it. I mean, I still run across people who are still wearing masks and shit. To me, that was definitely a line drawn in the sand of like, if you're not awake by now, you never will wake up. But I used to have this mindset when I was younger, had more energy. I would sit there and debate people. I'm almost done debating people. I'm not gonna lie, I ham it up in the comment section on different conspiracy videos. You might see me there. You might see, because I don't hide, it's Conspiracy Corner Podcast. I use the same channel name. I ham it up in other conspiracy video comment sections, you know. But I do that every now and then. And honestly, it's kind of therapeutic, you know. My wife will hear me on the phone, you know, and she'll be like, what are you laughing about? 'Cause she'll hear me, you know, what are you doing? And I'm like, just slaying in the comments. And she's like, oh my God. But it's kind of therapeutic. I just get it out of my system, you know, go in guns a-blazing, do it for about an hour, and get the fuck out, you know. And honestly, a lot of my video content is blue-pilled idiots that I run across just surfing the web. It gives me great content. But I'm past the point of trying to wake people up, if that makes sense. The older I've gotten, as long as I've been doing this game, I've been doing this game 8 years. I have over 500 uploads on my channel, maybe more because I have to sadly have 2 channels. I have almost 300 podcast episodes. Like, I've gotten old enough to where I'm like, I haven't lost the fight. And this isn't like a retirement episode. Like, if you notice, like, I took a whole year off. I needed it. I was just grinding and grinding and grinding, you know, and I'm like, I was getting discouraged because it's like, these people aren't going to wake up. They're not getting it, you know. And that's part of the reason why I've kind of let go of the whole stop trying to wake them up. Like, I feel like at first when I started this channel, my little source to God, you know, because I talk to God, and I feel like God speaks to me. And let me be very clear on that. I'm not Christian. So I'm not talking to Jesus or Jehovah. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Jehovah is a negative, lesser entity. I don't talk to that. I don't talk to demons, bro. But you can call it the creator of all. I talk to the creator of all, Hugh, you know. And people go, well, what do you mean you talk to God and God talks back to you? The way God talks to me is through feelings, and I call it downloads. And it could be the most simple thing, but usually it happens when I'm sitting here. Sometimes I'm arguing with myself mentally, or I'm talking to myself. Usually it happens when I'm talking to myself. I'll just receive a download, and I can tell that it's like from source, you know. And I'll be, you know, like one of these downloads was just kind of like, you know, I kept getting frustrated. This is when I took a year off. I'm like, they're not getting it. You know, I'd sit here and tell my wife, like, I don't want a podcast anymore. These fucking retards aren't fucking getting it. And I was getting mad, you know, and righteous anger. You know, not that you all are retards, but just righteous anger of like, and not you guys, obviously. If you sub and follow and listen, like, you guys are awakened. But I was getting mad, righteously angry at the sheeple of like, you motherfuckers are not getting it. You're not gonna wake the fuck up. You guys are fucking retarded. I hate you, you know, just angry. And I just kind of received a download one day of like, that time has passed, you know, basically telling me like, your journey has been since 2012, and then your career as far as like in this community actually producing content has been 8 years. That chapter is over for me. And I'm not discouraging people to not have the mindset of waking people up, because I think that's a very important phase as a truther, as a conspiracy theorist, of like, you get excited, you know, and as soon as you get red pilled, you want to red pill everyone. And that's usually, honestly, the roughest time of being a conspiracy theorist, because that's when your family thinks you're crazy. Luckily, I have 2 brothers who are very supportive. I have a younger brother who's a conspiracy theorist, and I have an oldest brother who's a conspiracy theorist. And both of them were like the only 2 in my family that weren't like, oh shit, Abe's insane. Like, my mom, she still calls me insane. Like, apparently I talked to my younger brother. She thinks that I'm like a Satanist. And I've never joined the Church of Satan. I've never joined the Satanic Temple. I've read their works and listened to their podcast and shit. Like, I understand satanic philosophy. I actually agree with 95% of it. But I've never converted to it or nothing. I've just simply said, like, I hear Christians like, oh, Satanic Temple and Church of Satan's evil, and then I've actually read the Satanic Bible and shit, and I'm like, kind of agree with most of this. Like, not gonna lie, most of it makes sense, you know. But I was having a lot of trouble with my family, dude, because I had woke up and was so excited about it. Like, let's wake everyone up, you know. But this message from God was simply like, that was phase 1. Stop focusing on waking people up. If they wake up, if they come across your work and they wake up, good. But I felt like my eye was not, it used, like at first, like I said, at first I believe it's a necessary phase, man, to try to wake people up. But the more you grow, you become a different person, you become older, you become wiser, and it's like, okay, you're not like a young punk rocker anymore. You need to stop trying to get people to become conspiracy theorists. That phase is over. If they're awake, they're awake. If they're not awake, stop trying to save them. And a lot of that mentality came from, honestly, I feel like maybe psychologically it came from my upbringing in Christianity, because when I was younger and Christian, because I stopped being a Christian when I was a preteen, so probably 14 years old I stopped being a Christian, but before then I was always trying to like save my friends and shit, you know. I was a young Christian warrior, like trying to save my friends, you know. I would become friends with somebody and I would bring it up, like, are you a Christian? And why aren't you a Christian? And please become a Christian. I want to save you. I don't want you to go to hell, you know. So I think where I left that part of my life at 14 years old, I think there was maybe a missing hole that never completely got filled on trying to wake people up. To me, it was saving people again. And I mean, on a psychological level, that could go into something deeper of maybe a savior complex or hero worship, or what do they call it? God complex, you know, Messiah complex, something like that. But now I feel almost, the older I've gotten and as long as I've been in the game, I feel like I'm a veteran. As weird as it sounds, I'm a conspiracy veteran. Like, I've been in this game since 2012. I've been on my war campaigns for 8 years. I almost feel like I'm handing over a sword to these younger channels. And like I said, Truth Seeker, I don't know how long his channel's been around. I just found this guy, but I feel like he has that, and I could be wrong. I'm assuming all of this, assuming makes an ass out of you and me, but I feel like it's like I've been in this game for 8 years, you know, but I mean, I've also been in this game since 2012. And I just feel like maybe he's a younger guy. He's got that youthful energy, which is necessary. But I guess this video is about, like, I've reached a point in my life where I've given up on trying to wake people up. I've been in this battle long enough. I'm scarred. I'm beaten up. I'm handing my sword and shield to someone else who wants to do it. I used to be a page of swords, you know, if we're talking tarot. I used to be a page of swords. Now I would consider myself a king of swords, and I'm passing down the sword, passing the baton. It's your turn. I guess that's what this video is about, is me passing the baton of, I'm done with trying to wake people up. And I believe, honestly, a lot of it goes with the whole pill scale of, like, red pill, you wake up. Black pill would be the next one, which would be you become nihilistic almost. You figure out nihilistic, atheistic. I went through that phase too of, like, religion is a conspiracy, you know, God is evil. There is no hope. We're fucked. We're doomed. And then the final pill, it's red. It's supposed to go red pill, black pill, white pill. And you have like other pills in between and shit. It's kind of like a belt system with martial arts. I finally, truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that I've finally reached the white pill as far as having that spiritual awakening through stuff like Alcoholics Anonymous, finding my higher power through a way that I understand it, which could be different for you. I finally had found my higher power. And what I'm trying to say is, like, here's something, just a little side note. Like, I'm going to start a channel on Rumble and BitTube and Fountain FM. I'm going to go to 3 more platforms for financial reasons, and it gets the word out better. So it's kind of cool. Here lately, I've been going through and writing down all of my old episodes, so I know what to put out. I'm going to start out with episode 1 of my podcast and go through and put out all of my old episodes. And I've never deleted my old episodes. I've always left them out there. And I leave them out there on purpose. So it'll be interesting to see the new crowd on these new platforms that I draw in, because they're going to be starting off on episode 1. They're going to hear my journey and the way I change. Because they're going to hear the older episodes of me being really gung-ho. They're going to hear episodes where I used to be agnostic. They're going to hear episodes of ancient astronaut theory when I was super big into that. They're going to hear episodes when I was a Q-tard, when I was just discovered QAnon and was believing in that shit. They're going to get to see me grow, which is so fucking neat, because I have like years of content that's going to be put out on 3 newer platforms. So it's very interesting that they're going to get to see me grow as a person. And I can't wait to see the comments of, like, they're going to be commenting on an episode that I made 4 years ago, and they're going to be like, you know, do you believe this shit? And it's going to be like, no, this was me 4 years ago. Totally different dude now. So it's going to be fun. But I've always left those episodes up there, and I've had people comment here lately on shit that I put out 3 years ago when I was a Q-tard and shit like that. And they're like, do you still believe this shit? What do you think about this shit now? You know, and I tell them, hey, I was wrong. Well, why don't you delete the episode? Because I want people to see my past mistakes too. That's another thing too. I want people to see who I used to be and who I am now. And see my past mistakes and see my inaccuracies and my flaws, and see a younger, feistier version of me. And you can either look at me now and go, Abe, you've changed for the better. Or there's going to be a lot of people that go, oh, Abe, you've changed for the worst. I'll hear both sides. I don't care. You know, as long as you're respectful in the comments, I'll talk to you. And I have changed. I think as people, we should grow. I don't think you should stop changing until the day you die. You know, I'm living with my mother-in-law right now, and she has this mindset of, this is who I am. I don't need to change. Other people need to accept me for who I am. And it's like, well, Mom, you've got a lot of flaws that you should work on. Nope, they just need to accept me. I'm tired of everyone telling me to change. And it's like, well, there's certain things you need to change. You know? And there's certain things that, to this day, I'm not perfect. I'm no saint. there's still things in my life that I have to keep an eye on. I'm a lot better than how I used to be, but there's still things in my life that I have to work on. I wake up every day and I go, how can I be better today? How can I be better, more better than yesterday? You know, yesterday I did this. I was lazy on this. I could have did this, you know, like shit like that, man. There are certain things that I still have to work on, like laziness, sloppiness, because I'm a burnout. I feel like Ozzy Osbourne sometimes. I don't put stuff up like I should. I leave shit out. There's little things that I do that bugs my wife, you know. I'm a little messy. Shit like that. There's times she comes up to me because of my mental health issues. She's like, so you're taking a bath today, right? And I'm like, no, I'm depressed. I don't want to. So you're taking a bath today, right? Okay. You know, because of depression and shit. Not that I'm some nasty, funky motherfucker, but there's things she has to keep on to me about, you know? There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I'm to the point of just being white-pilled, and I realized that I just want to say basically with the objective of this channel of like, I'm tired of waking people up. That is no longer the case anymore. That used to be something like my main focus. If you guys have been with me for years and you've listened for years, you know that I used to have that whole rushing into battle with a sword and shield to wake people up. That was my main objective. And I just want you to know that's not my main objective anymore. If you have not woken up by now, after all of the COVID shit, to me that was the line in the sand. If you haven't woken up since then, I'm not worried about you. And I know some people are going to go, well, that's a very nihilistic episode. Or episode. It's a very nihilistic mindset. I don't see it as that. I can't sit here and be a broken record and keep trying for this mission that seems impossible. If you're awake, you're awake. If you're not, you're not. Now, if you wake up and hear the shit that I'm spouting and go, oh my God, this dude's on to something, good. Welcome to the club. If this video wakes you up and you want to join the team, like, we open you with loving arms. My channel is one of the most loving channels on conspiracies. You're not going to find this a lot because there's a lot of cold-hearted motherfuckers in this realm of conspiracy. And I keep preaching about it every day on how we need to open up our arms more and accept more people. I accept people of every sexuality, of every race, of every religion. I accept you all. The only time I would ever say get the fuck out of my comments is if you're like a child predator or you sacrifice babies or something. That would literally be the only time that I would be like, get the fuck out. Like, you're done. You're banned. You're out. You're evil. Get the fuck out. That if you're just blatantly like, yeah, I'm CIA, then it'd be like, yeah, you're evil. You traffic children. Get the fuck out. Or I worship Moloch, you know. See you later, buddy. But, yeah. I guess what I'm saying is I passed the baton. And I actually want, if you're a upcoming channel, my best advice for you would be to actually have that mindset of, I want my channel to wake people up, because I used to have that mindset. It doesn't mean I'm done making content. It just means I've moved on to bigger and better things. I don't have time to focus on waking people up. If you're awake, you're awake. If you're not, you're not. My advice to you would be, if you have that young, youthful energy, and you have that mindset of that gung-ho attitude of, my whole objective is to wake people up, good. back to the front. You're on front lines now. I've gotten to the point with my age and with my channel that I don't want to be on the front lines. I want to be maybe in the middle. Maybe like some dude who's, I don't know, commanding. I think I've earned that. I'll be a commander of sorts. I used to be on the front lines, you know, hacking and slashing. Now I'm just a commander. Or an archer. An archer would be good. I'm kind of in the back, but just shooting arrows. That'd be good. Maybe I'll be an archer. You guys can be on the front line when the walls collide. Cavalry or whatever. I'll be an archer up in the tower. But yeah, keep that mindset, man. Keep that youthful energy as long as you can, but eventually you will become slightly jaded, you'll become calloused, and you'll become black-pilled. But don't forget, there is one more pill you have to swallow, and that's white-pilled. That little hope of spirituality, of save yourself, get close with God spiritually, and God will assist you. You'll notice when you follow what you need to follow, as far as spirituality, life gets a lot easier and life goes a lot smoother. When you stop doing your will and you do God's will, life goes smoother. But yeah, I pass my baton. I hand down my sword. You can have it. I hand down my shield. You can have it. I think I'm going to go with a staff. I'm going to be a wizard. But that is not my main objective with this channel anymore. My main objective is to inform. Because that was the next question I'm sure people are going to ask. Well, if you're not trying to wake people up, what's your whole mission? My whole mission is to educate now. To the people who are already awake. My whole mission is not to wake people up anymore. You're either awake or you're not. Point blank. I'm still going to put out content. Some of it'll just be fun. Some of it will be educational. Some of it will be whatever. My content is going to be whatever, but it's no longer going to be trying to wake you up. It's going to be to educate you further on your journey. I'm going to try to focus on what can I talk about that's going to inform people on something that they did not know about already. Or if they do know about it, what are your thoughts on it? How can you educate me? But as far as waking people up, I'm done waking people up. That's somebody else's mission. That's it. I pass my sword off. Y'all have a good day.